from yesterday. I said, how y'all feeling out here? All right, that sounds good. So I have an amazing young man in the back. He is a viral sensation, and to me, he exemplifies the power of perspective and the impact that you can have doing what you love. Now, I did ask him a question. I asked him, has he been to any restaurants here in Louisiana, in New Orleans? Tell me your favorite restaurants here in New Orleans. And not Acme. I need to hear, like, what are your favorite restaurants here in New Orleans? Okay. Sunday? Mondays. Okay. On Saturday, we're going to go to Mondays. Okay, well, the next young man coming up will let you know, do you or don't you when you come to what you eat, where you go, and where you patronize. Please welcome to the stage our host for this panel, or for this conversation rather, Miss Kimberly Wilson, and the viral sensation, the one and only, Mr. Keith Lee.
Good morning, Essence Festival. My name is Kimberly Wilson, and I am senior editor here at Essence Magazine. And I am with someone who really needs no introduction.
Honored.
But we're going to give him his flowers really quickly. So he is one of the most trusted voices in food, I'd say.
That's amazing.
He's built a massive following by doing exactly what most people don't, tell the truth, right? No frills, reviews, and he's been going to some of your favorite restaurants across the country. So give another round of applause for Keith Lee.
Thank you, man. First, I want to say, y'all can hear me? First, I want to say I'm honored to be here from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate every last one of y'all for taking a minute of y'all time to be here. It means the world to me, more than y'all will ever know. I thank y'all.
Yeah.
I thank y'all.
Okay, Keith, so how does it feel to be back in New Orleans, back at Essence Festival, one of your favorite food cities?
That's my favorite food city. I love New Orleans, man. Yeah, I love New Orleans. I love the people. And again, I love that y'all came out just to hear us talk, to hear us enjoy black culture, enjoy being here, being in this moment. Yeah, I'm forever honored, man. Yeah, I love New Orleans, though.
Okay, so we have to talk about the Keith Lee effect.
Talk to me, talk to me.
You have affected dozens of businesses. You've driven thousands and thousands of customers out to these restaurants, sold out all the food. So talk to me, how do you grapple with that responsibility of the influence that you have with your platform?
It's not me, it's God and it's y'all. If it's not for y'all that will stand in these lines and support these businesses and go and highlight the small person in the neighborhood that will often get overlooked, it wouldn't be a Keith Lee effect. At the end of the day, I'm just eating food. I'm sitting in the car with my family. I'm sitting in the car with my kids. The real power is the people who will go on feet and really go and support these restaurants. And the power of prayer. I think that's what I'm a exemplification of is what happens when you pray and what happens when you listen to him. When he asks you, are you ready for what you're asking for? And the answer is yes.
Okay. So talk to me, how do you stay grounded through it all? You've only gotten bigger and bigger throughout the years. So what keeps you grounded? And we know God is one of it, but what else keeps you grounded?
I be chilling. I'm not gonna lie to you, I be chilling. I'm always with my family. I'm always with my kids. I don't really live a lifestyle that is different than I did before everything took off. I sit in the house, I play the game, I eat food. When I'm not traveling a lot, I think that's the biggest difference is that now we've been blessed enough to travel, and out of a month, I'm probably home like 5 days. But those 5 days, I'm literally just sitting back, minding my business. But when I am out, again, I'm with my family at all times. And I think that's the real answer is that keeping the people closest to you will remind you what's important. The whole social media fame in general, money comes and goes, but what doesn't go is the true value of having the people that mean the most to you around you at all times.
Okay, so we're in New Orleans.
I appreciate y'all.
You said it's one of your favorite food cities. What has been the best food that you've had in New Orleans? And you have to tell us the exact order because people are here, they want to go, they want to visit.
So this is my #1 food city for multiple reasons. But Cajun food is probably, Creole and Cajun food is probably my favorite food. I would say the #1 food spot I've been to is it's a very simple spot too, and they actually are reopening this weekend. The name of it is Cajunlicious, and it was a small mom and pop shop, and it was the very first restaurant that ever got the Keith Lee effect outside of Vegas. Because New Orleans, if for those that don't know, was the very first stop on a food tour for us outside of Vegas. And I got a 8-piece Cajunlicious wing, and it's like a Cajunlicious special sauce that they make. You can see my mouth starting to water. It was like a Cajunlicious special sauce that they make, and it's like a spicy, sweet garlic sauce, but it's like chunky almost. So it's like fresh pieces of garlic, it's fresh pieces of onion. It was super spicy, but it still had a little bit of sweetness to it, like some fresh honey. It was the best wing I've ever had in my entire life. They got so they were at the point of closing because it was so slow. After we left, this was 2.5 years ago, after we left, they had to permanently close the location because they couldn't handle the influx. So now they moved to a bigger location and they reopened it this weekend.
Wow.
God is amazing, man.
Yes. Clap for that.
For sure.
So is there a city that has surprised you in terms of their food scene?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say there's a few cities. Baton Rouge, surprisingly, had a decent food scene to me. I feel like the people in Baton Rouge really made the experience for us. See, the people in Baton Rouge are amazing. I would say Baton Rouge is probably one of them that surprised me. I would say another one that surprised me, we were just in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
Shout out to Savannah.
Okay, we got one.
So we were only there for like 2 days, but Savannah, Georgia had a really good food scene. I would say my most slept on that I didn't anticipate was going to be like a really good food scene was Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
I did not think Seattle was going to be like that, but Seattle was like that.
Okay. Now, on the other end, is there a city that still owes you an apology? We saw the Atlanta content. No offense to Atlanta, but
I wouldn't say necessarily an apology, but I've been to a few places that I wouldn't go back if the goal was to eat food. I would say Atlanta is one of those.
Okay.
I frequent Atlanta a lot. I go back to Atlanta a lot, back and forth. But Atlanta is a business place for me. Atlanta has the mecca of black culture. It has the mecca of black business people. It has the mecca of us. And I think it's one of those hubs that have some of the most intelligent and some of the most powerful black people that's on this planet. And everything but food. I will go and politic and have conversations and do things that I feel like are very important for the movement of the culture. But when I want to eat, I go back to the room and eat somewhere there.
Now, we talk about the Keith Lee effect, and obviously the businesses play one part of that. But I think in terms of just reviews and content that we see online, your style has inspired so many. We see so many food reviews of people in their car nowadays, and I think you kind of started that. So in terms of when you see people with the same format or kind of recreating your style, how does that make you feel? Or are you completely unbothered by it?
It don't bother me. I think it's a theme going on to be upset about stuff like that. But for me, it's enough money out here for everybody to make. And I feel like don't nothing stop what God has got for you. And I feel like I don't know who I'm talking to in here, but can't nobody or nothing stop what's meant for you. And I feel like if the second that you get distracted or you start looking at other people or what they're doing, you forget what God has put in your life and the mission and the purpose that you own. So for me, I don't never mind. Even when people walk up to me and they start dancing, it don't never bother me. I'm honored, man.
And when you post, people listen, and I think why we all love you is your authenticity and how honest and raw and real. We get to see you with your family. We get to see all of that. So
I am who I say I am, and I feel like a lot of people don't really see me outside because I do be with my family. But again, I'm honored to be here. I'm thankful to be here, and I will say in front of everybody, I am Keith, and I am exactly who I present myself to be. For sure.
So why do you think your approach has connected so deeply with people online? Because your followers are in the tens of millions at this point.
I think what it is because people tired of seeing characters. People tired of seeing people that you know the second you meet them in person, it's not going to be the same energy. I feel like people are tired of seeing the facades. And again, I'm blessed enough to have a reassurance in who I am. So even when people say things about me that I know that's not true, it don't bother me because I know exactly who I am. And what I am and who I am is rooted in something deeper than what anybody can take away from me. So I feel like that's what people may resonate to. But at the end of the day, to genuinely answer your question, I have no idea. No idea. I eat food, I stay with my family, I pray, I mind my business. So when other people, and I also have imposter syndrome, so I don't see myself how people see me. So when people see me and they be freaking out, I be freaked out because I be trying to figure out what y'all be freaking out about. But again, I'm nothing but thankful for it.
And you and I actually talked about that last year. Keith was featured in our Essence magazine last year, and we did an interview, and you talked about actually having anxiety when you started out.
Absolutely.
And we don't see it, but you talk openly about anxiety and even the mental health aspects of what this career has developed from you. Can you talk a little bit more?
I think it's very important. I think not a lot of people, especially not a lot of black men, have access to be able to outlet that and to be able to speak in it and be able to stand in it firm. I've always had social anxiety, and I've always dealt with depression. And anybody in this crowd right now, or anybody that's listening to me, if you deal with depression or you deal with social anxiety, God got you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And that's something that I tell myself every day. It's easier said than done to trust the path that you're on. But for me, it's something that if I shy away from it, it doesn't get any better. The second that I accept it and the second that I own it, it don't have a control over me anymore. Because 2 or 3 years ago, I couldn't imagine it being on this stage. So the second that I battled with it up front and confronted it, because that's what TikTok was for me. I would sit up the camera when I had 8 followers or 10 followers, and I would pretend that it was 1,000 people watching me. And I would just do that over and over and over until I got into a repetition to where I wasn't bothered by my anxiety or I wasn't bothered by my inner thoughts because I'm an overthinker. It still does bother me because, again, at the end of the day, I still battle with it to this day. But again, y'all don't know how much y'all help me, and y'all don't know how much my family and how much the people around me help me, and I can never be more appreciative. That's why I always say thank you, and I genuinely mean it.
And we appreciate that. So
For sure.
You shared a story with us earlier about changing the lives of this family, this business, and we've seen that story so often with you.
For sure.
But talk to me about the legacy that Keith Lee wants to leave behind, not the food critic, but the family man,
Sure.
The businessman. Where are you hoping this will all go?
I pray and I thank God in advance that when you think of my name, you think of integrity. And you think of somebody who's going to stand on what they stand on at all times. If it's something that I am firm in, I put my feet in the ground, and I want my kids to look up to me as that. And when they look back at videos like this of us doing the Essence interview, and they look at videos of us having conversations, I want them to know that I am who I say I am, and that nothing will push me off my square, and nothing will push me off my pivot. And I don't care what level of success people deem me at, I'm always going to be myself.
And you talk about being who you say you are, but what's something that you've learned about yourself in the process, right? You've had growing popularity, and now you have a global stage. I'm sure there have been a lot of learning lessons along the way.
I've learned I'm stronger than I think I am. I felt like in the beginning I wouldn't have imagined being able to take the criticism that I take and not allow it to bother who I am or my core, because I'm sure y'all see the same things that I see. And I want y'all to know I do see a lot of it. I don't see all of it because it do be a lot, but I do see a lot of it. And me 3 years ago could have never imagined that I was able to stay steadfast and stay firm and what it is I feel like I'm on this earth to do. And other than that, I feel like I've learned, I got a little rhythm. If you used to follow me at the beginning, I didn't have rhythm at all. I couldn't catch a beat to save my damn life, but now I can dance a little bit. So I feel like that's something I've learned about myself for sure.
And we know that there is no such thing as an overnight success.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people in the audience, I'm sure, who want to start their next thing, right? With no platform, with no PR, with no team behind them. What advice would you give to not just aspiring creatives, but aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to kind of tap into their own purpose?
I think the main thing for me is that you are the platform. The platform isn't true. You are the platform. And I say that as somebody who was on Vine. I say that as somebody who was on as an Instagram comedian back before they even had videos, when they just had pictures and memes. I say that as somebody who's been on social media for a very long time, and people know me from TikTok. I would say it's not necessarily the platform. It is who you present yourself as on these platforms. And the number one advice I always try to give is that do something that if it was to blow up tomorrow and people expect that from you, that you will be happy with doing it. Because I know a lot of people, they will make videos or they'll do things that's quick or do things that's trending. But what if that thing takes off and now for the next 3 years, people only want that from you? And if it's something that you genuinely don't want to do, you're going to be miserable. So I say do something that you genuinely want to do, and the numbers will come, the accolades will come, the money will come. It's about doing things that you feel like you are genuinely passionate about.
Thank you. Now, you talk a lot about family.
Absolutely.
How's your wife doing?
Big and pregnant. Yeah. So my wife is 7 months. We just left France a week ago before we got here. I think we was at home for like 3 days. So she stayed back this time, and this is the first time that I've been without her with one of these events, and I'm going crazy. I'm going absolutely insane. But I see her in 2 days, so I can't wait.
How is it juggling fatherhood and fame and business and all of this?
It's a lot, but I think what differs me than most people who are deemed successful is that I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they come with me like 90% of the places that I go. And I had built the infrastructure. I've been blessed enough to build the infrastructure to where they fit in and they don't necessarily like mess up the mold that we've built. And I feel like a lot of people will either go out and venture and then come back and grab the kids. My kids have been with me from the very jump. So when everything first took off, I made sure the very first food tour they was with me. The very first going to a different trip or a business trip, they was with me. So that way, when things did get to a higher level, I didn't have to readjust or I didn't have to get used to or accommodate things for them. It's already accommodated. It's already built in a mold. And I'm blessed to say I know my kids and my kids know me. And for somebody who's only been home for 4 days out of the month, we're at home for 4 days out of the month, I feel like that's a blessing to be able to say that I'm like this with both of my kids and the one that's on the way.
You guys are about to be outnumbered.
We are. We are. And somebody told me yesterday, they was like, you better get off of that girl. You be on that girl nonstop. I feel like, so I'm only 28. I feel like people think I'm either 35 or 40. I'm only in my 30s, and my wife is too. My wife is 28. And we promised ourselves that we're going to do it. We're going to do it as much as we've been blessed enough to do it. And we're going to do it to the point where, we're going to have all the kids we've been blessed enough to have them. We're going to have them early. So when we done having kids, we done having kids. And we got a bunch of adults right next to each other versus having a 14-year-old and a 1-year-old. Like, we want a 14, 10, 8, all in a row. Get every stage of school out the way in one whop.
Now, we have seen you do some really exciting collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first that I saw personally was the Chipotle with Chipotle. And what I really loved about even seeing them is that they were so organic and authentic. They were already brands that you loved. But is there a dream collaboration that you could have?
Ooh, that's a good question. Before we get into it, how y'all feeling? Okay, I'm having an amazing time, so I just want to check on y'all. So brand-wise, I would say my dream collab. Let me ask y'all a question before I answer that. How would y'all feel about going to a festival that we throw? Yeah. So that's something that's in the works. I'll give y'all an exclusive. It's not confirmed completely yet, but that's something that we are in development of. And I think it's a lot of brands I think that will fit that mold. I know Coke is here. I think Coke would be great. I really want to work with ASICS. So ASICS is the store that me and my wife worked at. So that's how we met. We worked at a shoe store, ASICS, and we opened the very first store in Las Vegas in the South Premium Outlets. And it just so happened that the Chipotle that had the Chipotle sign on it was right in front of the mall that we worked at, that we first met at. So for me, that's alignment, and that's showing that everything that we doing is what we supposed to be doing. So I would say ASICS is probably my dream collab.
Okay. Now, talk to us about, what are you cooking at home? You're always testing so much food, but what are you eating and cooking at home?
So that's how I very first started, was cooking 4 meals a day for my wife when she was pregnant with my first child, and cooking while I was in the middle of training. Because a lot of people don't know, I've been a professional fighter for 10 years. And during my entire fighting career, I would cook for myself. I would have like food scientists around me and food dietitians to really help me like curate my meals. But I was cooking 4 times a day nonstop. Now I don't cook so much because I'm barely home. But when I am home, yeah, I don't cook. I'm eating out. Yeah, I don't be having the energy. Yeah, I be exhausted when I get home.
And you talk about being on the road so much. So what are some upcoming cities that we could expect on the Keith Lee food tour?
You getting all of it out of me today, huh? I'm gonna get cussed out when I get back. So our next food tour is Portland, Oregon. Yeah, our next food tour is Portland, Oregon. We probably gonna do it. I can't tell y'all when we gonna do it, but we gonna do it soon.
Okay. So be on the lookout for Portland, Oregon. So you've also hinted before at maybe owning your own restaurant someday. Is that
something that's
that still a part of the plan?
I will say we have a lot of things that we're working on behind the scenes, and a lot of things that I've been blessed enough to be a part of. And I think this year, God willingly, is going to be the year that cements a lot, and that sets a big foundation for longevity, and really puts a lot of things in place. And it wouldn't be possible without y'all. None of it would be possible without y'all.
So I follow you on TikTok, and I know some of your food habits. I know you don't love sweets. There's just certain things. But is there a food that you didn't think you would like, but you ended up loving?
Sushi. Anybody love sushi in here? Yeah. So I'm a texture person. I always say I don't like eating things that you can eat without teeth. So like Jell-O, pudding, anything like, I like grits, but it gotta have like bacon in it. It gotta have like some texture. So never in a million years did I think I would like sushi because of the texture. But I fell in love. I feel like for me, the seaweed has to be really crispy, and it has to give that like crunch. Again, my mouth watering. You can tell I really love food. But it really, for me, has to be texture. But sushi is probably the most surprising.
Okay. And we know that you're typically supporting a lot of the mom and pop restaurants and things like that. But is there a chain restaurant that you love and will always defend?
Ooh. I would say, yeah, okay. So there's a place called Cane's that I'm very, very familiar. I'm sure everybody in here know, because it was born and bred in Louisiana. I feel like it gets a very bad rep. And for me, I feel like it's because people don't know how to order it. I feel like it's a very specific way that you have to order Cane's. I just put my order out there maybe like a week ago because I didn't realize that I never put it out before. But I feel like Cane's is a place that's very like overly hated for not a lot of reasons.
Okay. And then another question for you. What is worse, bad service or no seasoning?
Ooh. Okay, how bad of the service we talking about?
It's real bad. It's real bad.
Real bad?
You waited 2 hours for your food.
Oh, girl, I can always add my own seasoning. Yeah, definitely service. Yeah, definitely service. I can always add my own salt and pepper.
And what is one food trend that you think is really overrated?
I think food trend in general, I wouldn't necessarily say like is food based, but I think the trend of being upset at what people like. I think that's for me, because everybody's taste buds is different, and everybody has a very specific thing that they like and what they don't like. And I don't think anybody's wrong is wrong and anybody's right is right. It's only right to you and it's only wrong to you. I would say being upset at people for eating certain things that you wouldn't necessarily eat. I would say that's probably my least favorite.
And we know that you're hearing about a lot of these restaurants by folks who are DMing you, right? Whether the restaurants themselves or your fans and your followers. But what's been the wildest DM that you have gotten?
I get a lot. I get a lot. Whether it's like an aftermath of going to a restaurant. So I'll give you an insight. We only go to restaurants that we get invited to. And the reason I do that is because after I leave, I don't want the restaurant, if I give my honest opinion, to be like, nobody asked for your opinion anyway, or nobody asked you to come here, or who asked you, or like that kind of rhetoric. But one restaurant we left, I won't say exactly what city, but one restaurant we left, it was a restaurant that asked us to come multiple times. And once we left, I wasn't a huge fan of one of the things that I had, but one thing about me, I never say it's disgusting, it's nasty, because again, everybody taste buds is different. I just said I wasn't a fan of it. And I got an email from the owner's mom basically saying like, if anything happened to her son, it's my fault. If anything, like if he do anything to himself, or he get upset, or if he mad, or if he don't open his restaurant again, it's my fault. I feel like it's a lot of pressure for no reason.
Right.
And I would say that's probably the craziest one, because at the end of the day, I'm just eating food, and I'm eating what you asked me to come and eat. And anybody out there that has a restaurant, I would like to say, if you don't want me to be honest, do not invite me. Leave me at home. I'm more okay and more happy with being at the crib with my kids and my wife, rather than coming out and having people upset at me about what they asked my opinion on.
Okay. And you talked to us earlier, obviously you got your start in sports, right? Is there any kind of dream to return back to that?
My wife would kill me if I say yes. I was getting punched in the face for a living, so she don't want that no more. I would say I definitely want to get more into athletics. I hoop, so I want to do like more things like athletically, as far as like playing in basketball games or playing in football games. I would really love to set up a league that's for underprivileged children in neighborhoods and in food deserts and places that don't necessarily get a shine, and have a league for them to be able to come out and creatively express themselves without being judged.
Right. Now, you talked about being 28 as well. Think back about 10, 15 years ago. What would you go back and tell your 13-year-old self about could you have even dreamed that life would look like this right now?
I would like to say yes and no. And the reason I say yes, I can see this, is because I feel like, I don't know who can relate to this, but I feel like if you had that voice that's telling you you're going to be something, and you have no idea what that something is, or what that path looks like, I've always had that voice. I've always had that voice that was promising me I was going to be destined for something. I couldn't see it at the time. That's why I said no, because I've always dealt with depression. I've always dealt with anxiety. 13-year-old me was very suicidal, and he was a kid that didn't believe that he belonged here, and didn't see himself being anywhere further than the next day. So for me, at 13, I probably wouldn't have believed that I got this far. But that inkling and that feeling that I feel like God has blessed on my life has always been there. And I will go back and tell him that you was right, and that exactly what you feeling was not a mistake. And to continue stepping how you stepping, and continue to listen to it. And that's for anybody in here. If you feel like you got that feeling and other people don't see it, it's not for them to see. It's only for you to see. And if you know it's there for a reason.
Amen. Amen. Now, we've seen quite a few key celebrity link-ups.
Okay.
Talk to us about maybe your favorite that you've had so far.
My favorite link-up, I would say, was Cardi B. Yeah, Cardi B. Shout out to Cardi B. Cardi B was amazing. What people don't know is that we had a conversation. So for me, I only do things with people that I genuinely feel like I can call on the phone afterwards and have like actual conversations with. I don't do the link ups just for I'm Keith Lee and you Cardi B, or I'm Keith Lee and you somebody else. If you've noticed, I've been blessed enough to build what I built strictly off of being myself, and strictly off of putting restaurants and my family on the forefront, and not putting myself as the main character. I haven't done it with a bunch of press interviews. I haven't done it with a bunch of media. I haven't done it the conventional way of going on full press tours, or going on people's streams, or going and collaborating with a lot of people. I've only been in videos with people that I can genuinely just sit down and eat food with. And me and Cardi, we had a full FaceTime for maybe like 20 minutes. She is a very nervous person. You will not believe how anxiety heavy she is at times. because she's a normal person, and I feel like she's just dealing with the difference of how people deem you successful and how they treat you when you deem successful. She is literally just a normal person. And she called me and she was like, I was so nervous to call you, but I really want to eat some food together. If we could eat food. And I said, girl, I'm about to bring a burger to the house right now. And I came over, I brought my kids with me. I brought my mom-in-law. We sat in the living room. They was drinking wine. I don't drink, so they was drinking wine. They was listening to unreleased music. They was dancing. Cardi B is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, and shout out to her.
Shout out to Cardi.
For sure.
So Keith, we are so proud of you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your light with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for making us feel like we are in that car with you when we
Absolutely.
see those videos. Y'all give it up for Keith Lee.
I appreciate y'all, man. And thank y'all for being here. Again, this means more to me than you know. Y'all be safe, man. I'll see y'all around, so if y'all see me, please don't feel free to speak. Absolutely.
Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your festival.
Give it up for the host, man. Yeah, that's right.
But be mad one day, guess I'm outside.